Matthew 4, 1 through 11, New International Version. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. "If you are the Son of God," he said, "throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." Jesus answered him, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their splendor. Remember, this is 9. Matthew 4, 9. Okay, so he's taking him to the high point. I like pyramids and tops of temples and tops of mountains as well, right? What does the mountain and the temple have in common? They both, when combined, represent the pyramid. And of course, Israel and Egypt used to be combined. We're not going to get into that. Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord, your God, and serve him only." Then the devil left him, and angels came and attended him. So what is the relevance of this story? Well, if you ask an atheistic Satanist, a secular humanist, or anyone else, right? If they saw this play out and they knew that these people had power, right? Let's say the devil was the king of all kings of the world, of this world, right? The king of kings of this world. And the atheist knew it, but he didn't quite know what Jesus was. And to him, he's crazy, right? Well, what would he say? He says, look, this guy's offering you the world, basically just to, pay him tribute. Just to worship him. There's no God anyway, right? You see what I mean? The non-Christian is a fucking moron, whether you look at it from a Christian perspective or not. Therefore, every non-Christian is in denial, except for maybe the Muslims, since they resemble Christianity so much. So the devil wanted him to commit suicide, just like mental health, right? Their drugs cause people to commit suicide on record. And the FDA, on record, downplays this. They dramatically underreport it. The suicides are as many as 10 times higher than they report. Okay? And this is, when you're an atheistic Satanist, you don't believe in God, right? But you believe that you want Christians to bow to you. Your thing is that these Christians worship this guy daddy, and it pisses you off. And you want to force them. If you rape them, beat them, no matter what you do, you want to force them, drug them, force them to stop seeing it that way. That's what psychiatry is. The enemies of Christians who have an extreme complex to the point where they're willing to drug kids, contribute to eugenics, turn a blind eye to sex offenders abusing the mentally ill, quote unquote, turn a blind eye to oppression and, violating civil rights, human rights, and constitutional rights. Take the enemy's blood money, work for the CIA, and on and on. When you look at what psychiatrists are willing to do, you have to ask yourself, and legally obligated to do, what kind of person would be a psychiatrist if not an atheist, if not a feminist, and other sickos who put their complex above human life on record and brag about it? You have many feminists on record bragging about how they're pagans and how they sacrifice children, not in those words. Google it. So, Matthew 4:12. When Jesus heard that John had been put in prison, he withdrew to Galilee, leaving Nazareth. He went and lived in Capernaum, which was by the lake in the area of Zebulun and Naphtali. Okay, so you have the Naphtali as one of the people. That's my tribe. Okay, the Naphtali tribe, right? One of the Jewish tribes, referred to as Naphtali. Well, why is that? Okay, why is it the land of Naphtali? So why is Naphtali a person, the spirit of a people, or the people itself? Okay, and the land, right? So it's the land, the spirit, the person, and the people. You see what I mean? This is a recurring theme. Egypt and Israel. Israel used to be part of the Egyptian Empire. Okay? The Hamitics founded Egypt and Babylon. Cush begot Ham. Ham, Canaan, Nimrod, right? So the Canaanites, who the Israelis mixed with, were Hamitic. Okay? Egyptians, okay? Cush, the Cushites and the Egyptians, who are grouped together in Nahum and all throughout history, are also Hamitic. So these people started in Chaldea, in Europe, Abraham's hometown. Okay, he goes to Egypt, and he looks like an Egyptian. That's part of why the Pharaoh likes his wife. Hey, she's hot. She reminds me of a sexy Egyptian woman or something, but slightly different, a different kind of black person, And then that's where they have their little misunderstanding. He says, "Why didn't you tell me that was your wife?" Right? So then they leave. Okay, and they go back through the black area. Remember, this is long ago, This is like 1600 BCE or something. I forgot what it was. It's long ago, right? And then, what was it? Yeah, excuse me. It's 1600 BCE when the Jews are taken into captivity. Okay, so Abraham leaves. Okay, he was looking for land in Hamitic territory, and some of them applied land there. So it's established that whether you look at it from Abraham and before, or Abraham and after, you look at it as Joshua, the Jews had land in Egypt. So there are Jewish temples in Egypt at that point, okay? Primitive ones before Moses receives the 10 Commandments. So the light temple in the Bible and in history is in Egypt and Israel. They're combined, okay? So Afro-Asiatic, because the light temple was in Egypt and Israel. Joshua, okay, and then on to Moses around Ramses. I don't have it next to me. I think it's about 1213 BCE or something like that, right? 1200, something like that before Christ, okay? That's when the Jews leave, okay? This is a black-ass fucking area at the time, okay? These are black-ass motherfuckers. So from like 1600 to 1200, the Jews are catching the black dick, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. Hey, servant girl. And we see proof of that in the Bible. Why? We see that Moses takes a Cushite wife. How many of you think that's the first time a Jew and a black person had sex? Anyone? Freckles. Skinhead. Darky. My brown brothers. Red man. Anyone? Of course it wasn't. That's why they speak an Afro-Asiatic dialect, genius. Because Japheth was in the Caucasus Mountains far away. And we were the guys the Bible is talking about. Ham and Shem. Okay? Shem went all through Ham, fighting with Ham, and he was taken captive. And Shem leaves, Moses, they split the Red Sea, and they fight with all these different people, right? The Philistines and Amorites and what have you, right? The Canaanites is where they settle. Canaan, the descendant of Ham. And God says you can take these descendants of Ham as wives on your way out. So the Jews took a bunch of Ham and Shem people as wives, and where they mix, where they overlap, right? As wives on their way, as they roam around following Moses and finally settle, okay? And when they settle, they are a Afro-Asiatic people. That's why Amos 9:7 says, "Aren't you the same as the Cushites to me?" Not in those words. Aren't you the same? O children of Israel, or something like that. It says, "Aren't you the same to me as the Cushites?" It's been a while. Amos 9:7. Okay, and then Nahum 3:8-10. Cush in Egypt were her boundless strength. So why does God give them boundless strength and refer to Jesus as the Lion of Judah? Okay, lions are known for strength and pride. Okay, you're proud. Okay, the other Shemites and the whites are referred to as they're women, right? They're cowardly women, you know, the other whites and Shemites, the whites and the Shemites. But the blacks and the Hamites and where Ham mixed with Shem are referred to as having boundless strength. And of course, Ham is the big brother, the big strong black guy. Shem is like it looks like me, right? He's like the in-between. And Japheth is in between a white and an Asian, right? He's a Eurasian looking guy. So Ham is a black, Wesley Snipes, Negroid features looking guy. Shem is kind of like a in between, before the whites, the Persians and the Romans and the Greeks and them ran through the Middle East. Okay, Shem was a middle, more of a darker looking person. Okay, so when you look at this, it's a no fucking brainer what they're getting at. Ham refers to the person, the people, the spirit, etc. So does Shem. So when Ham and Shem mix together, you have the most, Nimrod was a mighty hunter. Cush in Egypt were her boundless strength. Why? You had to take the most gifted, naturally people and mix them together to have mind, body, and soul to create the master tribe in theory, which was the Judah, right? They had this power. They were Afro-heavy. They had that boundless strength that made them great warriors, right? And then they had that spiritual strength from being Shem and Moses, right? So over time, it continued, and that's why I'm the top martial artist. It is biblical, it is scientific, it is also from a perspective of heart, okay, and martial arts or divine war arts. So it is my religion, it is my culture, and it is science to know that I am superior. Thank you.